Some things a mother leaves behind are not written in any will. They are not locked away in a bank or hidden inside a sealed box. They live on quietly in a ring on a young woman's finger, in the tilt of a little girl's head, in a promise two brothers made at a garden they will never forget. Nearly 30 years after Diana, Princess of Wales, was taken from the world, her presence has not faded. It has multiplied. It walks into royal weddings. It stands in the front row at Christmas services. It looks out at photographers with the very same eyes. This is the story of how one woman's legacy refused to disappear, and how the family she left behind has carried her, piece by piece, into a future she never got to see. What follows is not rumor. Every part of it is real. The most famous of Diana's belongings never sat in a vault at all. It sits on the left hand of the Princess of Wales for the whole world to see. Diana chose her sapphire and diamond engagement ring from Garrard ahead of her 1981 marriage to Prince Charles, reportedly because it reminded her of her own mother's ring. After Diana's death, the ring could have gone into storage forever. Instead, it found its way onto a new generation. Hello. When Prince William proposed to Catherine in Kenya in 2010, he offered her that same ring. It was a deeply personal choice, and it carried a weight most people can barely imagine. William later admitted he had carried the ring in his rucksack for about 3 weeks before the proposal, refusing to let it out of his sight because he knew what would happen if he lost it. Hello. Catherine has never treated the ring as merely a piece of jewelry. She has spoken about what it means to wear something so tied to a woman she never met. On a visit to Wales, she explained that it was still the exact same ring and the same size, and said she felt honored to wear it despite the sadness of never having met Diana. There was even a quiet act of care behind the scenes. Rather than breaking and resoldering the band when it proved slightly too big, Catherine had it resized in a completely reversible way that left the original design untouched. Hello, hello. That small decision says everything. She did not want to change Diana's ring. She wanted to protect it. For millions who watched Diana in the 1980s and 90s, seeing that sapphire flash on a new bride's hand in 2011 was like watching a piece of the past step gently into the present. The ring had survived tragedy, and in surviving it became a bridge connecting a mother who was gone to a family that was only just beginning. And it was only the first of many pieces Diana would seem to hand down from beyond. The engagement ring may be the most visible, but it is far from the only treasure of Diana's that now lives on through Catherine. Over the years, the Princess of Wales has quietly reintroduced piece after piece from her late mother-in-law's collection, each one chosen with obvious thought. Take the pearl earrings. The Collingwood pearl and diamond earrings were a wedding gift to Diana, and Catherine first wore them at a Spanish state banquet in 2017 before making them a personal favorite. There is also the 3-strand pearl bracelet, a piece with a story of its own. Designed by Nigel Milne in 1988, Diana famously paired it with her striking Catherine Walker Elvis dress in Hong Kong in 1989, and Catherine debuted it during a royal tour of Germany and Poland. Hello, hello. Some choices carry a heavier meaning, depending on the moment. For Prince Philip's funeral in 2021, Catherine wore a black Catherine Walker coat dress from a designer who had been close to Diana, along with the 4-strand pearl necklace Diana often wore. On a day of mourning, she surrounded herself with reminders of the woman who had once walked those same halls. Woman and home. Then there are the grand pieces. The lover's knot tiara, officially part of the royal collection, became so closely tied to Diana that seeing Catherine wear it at a state banquet felt like a direct echo of the past. Even bolder was a single striking appearance with an emerald choker. Diana had once worn the famous emerald choker as a headband during her 1985 tour of Australia, and Catherine chose the very same piece, paired with a neon green gown, at the 2022 Earthshot Prize. Woman and home, woman and home. What makes all of this remarkable is that Catherine is not simply copying Diana. She has her own unmistakable style. But again and again, she has decided to weave Diana's treasures into her most important moments: banquets, funerals, tour, ceremonies that the whole world watches. There is a language in this that goes beyond fashion. When a bride wears her late mother-in-law's ring, when a princess pins on the pearls a lost woman once loved, she is making a statement without saying a word. She is saying, you are not forgotten. You are here. You are part of this. For older viewers who remember Diana in her prime, these appearances land like small emotional shocks. A pair of earrings from 1981 catches the light at a 2019 awards show. A A bracelet from a Hong Kong tour in 1989 appears again on a new continent decades later. The jewels did not stay locked away gathering dust. They were lifted out, polished, and worn with pride, proof that Diana's taste, her warmth, and her memory had found a careful new keeper. And yet, of all the ways Diana lives on, the most haunting is not something you can wear at all. No ring, no tiara, and no strand of pearls has stirred people quite like the face of a young girl. Because among all of Diana's grandchildren, it is Princess Charlotte who seems to carry the most of her, and she is not carrying jewels. She is carrying the woman herself. It starts with the eyes. Royal fans have noticed that Charlotte appears to have inherited the famous Spencer stare, a look Diana was known for, gazing up through her eyelashes with a slightly tilted head. The same distinctive expression has been spotted in Prince William and Prince George too, but on Charlotte it seems especially strong. Marie Claire, Marie Claire. The resemblance goes deeper than a single glance. At the Together at Christmas carol service in December 2025, 10-year-old Charlotte drew striking comparisons to Diana in a navy velvet dress with a crisp white collar, an outfit echoing one Diana herself had worn back in 1981. Photographs placed side by side left little doubt. The little girl standing in the abbey looked uncannily like the young woman from another era. Yahoo! Even Charlotte's habits seem to trace back to her grandmother. A viral TikTok pointed out that Charlotte tends to stand with her feet crossed and one leg pointed to the side, nearly identical to a pose Diana struck in a 1981 portrait. And like Diana, Charlotte has a love of ballet. The stance, the poise, the quiet self-possession, none of it seems taught. It seems inherited. Marie Claire. And then there is the name. This was no accident of nature, but a deliberate act of love by a grieving son. William chose to give Charlotte the name Diana as a middle name rather than a first name, so his daughter would not spend her life facing constant comparison, while still ensuring his mother would always be remembered. Charlotte's full name, Charlotte Elizabeth Diana, honors both her great-grandmother, Queen Elizabeth II, and her late grandmother, Marie Claire, Marie Claire. There is even a treasure waiting for her. Charlotte is set to one day inherit the Spencer tiara, the very diadem Diana wore on her wedding day in 1981, after it had been worn by her sisters at their own weddings before her. The list. Think about what this means for William. He was 15 when he lost his mother. He grew up under the endless weight of being compared to her. And now, every day, he watches a little girl who looks like Diana, stands like Diana, dances like Diana, and carries her name. For a father, that must be both a comfort and a quiet ache, a daily reminder of everything that was lost, and everything that somehow lived on. Charlotte will never meet the grandmother she so resembles, but in a strange and beautiful way, Diana meets the world again through her. And the men who loved Diana most have made sure her memory would never be left to fade. Behind every ring, every pearl, and every glimpse of Diana in a grandchild's face stand two men who refused to let their mother slip into history. William and Harry were only boys when she died, 15 and 12. What they carried into adulthood was not just grief, but a mission. That mission took its clearest form on a summer day in 2021. On what would have been Diana's 60th birthday, the brothers reunited in the sunken garden at Kensington Palace, one of her favorite places to reflect, to unveil a statue of their mother. The garden was chosen for a reason. Palace staff recalled that Diana had regularly admired the changing flower displays there and often stopped to talk with the gardeners who cared for it. Hello, CNN. Their words that day read almost like a vow. In a joint statement, they said they remembered her love, strength, and character, qualities that made her a force for good who changed countless lives. Then came the line that stayed with people. Every day we wish she were still with us, they said, expressing their hope that the statue would forever stand as a symbol of her life and legacy. Hello, NBC News. The statue itself was designed to carry meaning. Diana's figure was shown surrounded by 3 children, meant to represent the wide, generational impact of the work she did. This was not a monument to a princess frozen in the past. It was a tribute to a woman whose kindness kept rippling outward. NBC News. Their devotion did not begin or end with a statue. Years earlier, both brothers had spoken openly about what she gave them. In a documentary, William reflected that he was lucky to have known her for the 15 years he did, and that she had prepared him well for life in the best way she could. Harry's words were simpler and just as piercing. He said she was still their mum, and that as her son he would always call her the best mother in the world. Newsy News. Perhaps the most tender proof of her lasting presence lives inside their own homes. William revealed that every Mother's Day, his children make cards remembering Granny Diana, and that he regularly talks about her at bedtime so George and Charlotte know they had a second grandmother. Across an ocean, Harry has done the same. He shared that one of his son Archie's first words after Mama and Papa was Grandma, spoken while looking at a photo of Diana in his nursery. Newsy News. This is the truth behind the legend. Diana left behind no secret that could shatter a family. What she left was far more powerful. A ring that became a promise, jewels that became a language, a granddaughter who became a living echo, and two sons who turned their grief into a lifelong act of remembrance. She is gone. But look closely at this family, and you will find her everywhere carried forward on purpose with love.